So hello and welcome to the New Gig podcast. I'm your host, Glen Hodgson. And today I'm delighted to be joined by the CEO of Traxlo, Paul Vezelis. How are you doing, Paul?
Hey, Glenn. Thank you. I'm doing great. Nice, almost a spring day where I am now. So it's positive vibes.
That's positive vibes indeed. So let's start by just hearing a little bit about your background and also how you got into the platform gig economy, but also how you started Traxlo and what you're doing today.
Yeah, so that was quite a journey actually. So I'm into startups now for close to 10 years. And basically from the very beginning, we pivoted to grocery retail, to the retail environment in general, where we operate now with Traxlo. And first of all, I just worked for a startup, and almost 2 years now ago, we started Traxlo in Stockholm, Sweden, with my co-founder Almantas at actually Antler Accelerator, a great program. And that's where we dig deep into basically grocery operations, specifically food retail, and how it is operated, how the processes work, and what a pivotal role employees play into making everything happen when it has to happen in this dynamic environment. And the learnings from our first year in the industry and with the Traxlo was that there are a huge lack of hands in the industry. Like every major retail chain across different countries, they just have unstaffed positions, like hundreds of them, thousands of them, sometimes even. And why not to tap into the surrounding neighborhood people, like who live near the stores, who has free time on their hands, and who could easily do one or two tasks, not necessarily every day, but sometimes. Like if you have some time, you can just help out your neighborhood store. And that's how we came up with the idea that let's create a platform which connects the retailers in need of this extra help and people who have time and willingness to do the jobs.
Yeah, great. So it's a matching service basically for the for the stores and retailers that have a need for bigger jobs, but also for small jobs, time definite. This is a place that they can go and find the expertise and the individuals they need to be able to complete these specific tasks.
Yeah, exactly. But we are more than a matching service. So we have a mobile application for sure, where we show the available jobs nearby and where people can just select what we would like to do. But a lot of the success recipe lies in the additional tools which guides the person who is not from the retail environment, who does not work in the grocery before, but then the app just guides the person, trains it inside the app, so the person just don't have to leave anywhere for additional trainings. Everything is at your fingertips. So you go through a training, you get a description. Description has a nice flow to it, how you should approach the task, how you should enter the store, how you should act inside it with other employees, regular employees maybe, and how to complete it. And everything is photo confirmed, so everyone is sure about the outcome of what was done. And it's fair and square, simple and fair, that you were tasked to do something, you did it, you take a photo of it, and then you get the pre-agreed amount of money basically for the task done.
Excellent. And this is a quick process as well in terms of getting people to the opportunities, training them, but also receiving the payment for the work that they've done as well, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. It depends from country to country where we work, how the people are getting paid actually, and at what intervals. But in Sweden, for example, we are able to do it basically immediately after we get the confirmation that the task was completed correctly.
Yeah. Excellent. So it's a quick process. So this is something that's still quite new, offering great opportunities for individuals as well as companies and retailers themselves. So how is sort of the digitalization element sort of transforming the world of work, but particularly the commerce and the retail sector as well, Paul?
Yeah, I think in general, like every retail chain, every our client is different. They have different needs. They have different digitalization initiatives.
Okay.
Some of them are very new. Some of them are older, and some of them even have like a startup accelerators built in. And it's very difficult to compare the chain to chain.
Okay.
But overall, I'd say that the changing market and the changing employees categories and age groups of employees are pushing everyone to look for the tools which kind of are the future of the labor market.
Yeah.
Because in most countries, retail chains are, if not, they are at least one of the biggest employers as a category in a country, and they need a huge supply of hands and a huge supply of talent. And if the talent is going, are very familiar with mobile apps and gig economy, and they have kind of choices to work on different platforms. So the retailers has to be in the same game basically, or start being into it as likely as we see it, it will evolve to much more digital interactions in the next 5 years.
Excellent. This is really next generation retail solutions that you're offering here.
Yeah, we like to say that in general, we just go with the flow of the young generations, how we like to work, how much freedoms we want to have, and how we interact with the surroundings, and how we seem to expect to earn money and still have all the control of their kind of youthful lifestyles.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically adapting to individuals, society, and the new people in the workforce, basically adapting to their needs, desires, and also how they want to be able to set up their work as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is just a logical thing to do. And the tools and in general, the common knowledge now with all these like global platform players, it's what people kind of now see as a valid category of work with added bonuses as freedom of choice, freedom of schedules, amounts can vary, like the time worked per week, per like months can vary radically. And that's fine if you have a correct platform kind of thing going on, and which can level the needs of the supply and demand.
So it seems, Paul, that we're moving away from a traditional kind of 9-to-5 model of retailers employing staff on a fixed hours contract or specific timetable. It's much more fluid and much more flexible in terms of the way this is working.
Yeah, that's a very correct observation. And other thing, like maybe specific to our industries, that the flow of operations is never ending.
Yeah,
like people forever will go to buy food. The models differ. There are some dark stores with delivery companies, but still people are buying food. And usually the food is taken from the shelf. So somebody has always stocked the shelves. There are, of course, robotic solutions in development, other startups who do that. But we believe that it's good opportunity just for the neighborhood people with the free time to use it wisely, earn some income, help the store nearby, and basically it also can increase the social responsibility of the companies, and the people do not need to travel to other part of the town or the big city to just work a few hours. They can do it next to their home, and it's efficient. And it seems that workers, we call them taskers. The taskers like it, and they're happy about it. So some people just do the task just before going to the university. Some people complete the task after the studies, for example, before going home. Others just work on many different platforms, and in the gaps, for example, we work on hours, and that's also a valid option.
So this is basically sort of filling the needs of taskers, as you call them, individuals, but also companies and organizations as well, so of adapting to their needs. So it's something that's sort of, you haven't just created, it's something that's actually sort of fulfilling a specific gap in the market, a specific development which hasn't maybe been tapped thus far.
Yeah, we'd say that there are good examples, different tasks being done by workers in the retail environments, but maybe more so in North America and even in South America. As for Europe, there aren't many, like at least large scale examples, and we try to be among the leaders who push this forward here. And as we see it as a great win-win situation for everyone, because as you mentioned, there are gaps in the retailers' operations. They understand them. They always need extra hands, as I numerous times mentioned already. And it's a good way if you can just take simple things, which anyone can do it. And we are talking about a thing, and maybe it's specific to the industry, that the tasks inside the stores, they consume a lot of time per day to be completed, like always checking expiration dates, stocking the shelves with products. Basically anyone can do it, but it takes a lot of time. No big training is needed. It's not something very sophisticated. So so there are people who have time and they want to exchange it for working somewhere. Like we have examples when people go to the store to buy something and we complete the task at the same time for additional like 30 minutes. So why not? Basically a free shopping experience when you can like, exchange your earnings to some products for your home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is something that's definitely needed, and also sort of flexibility there as well. And what's the kind of, you've kind of started alluding to that as well, sort of students and people. What's the kind of, is there a general profile of the individual who will be one of your taskers, would you say, Paul, or is it more broad?
So definitely one of the main category is younger people. And students is kind of a subgroup of that. Then sometimes, as already also mentioned, we exchange kind of like we share the taskers with other platforms. Maybe in the morning, the person is driving someone to work as a driver. Then he works on our platform, and maybe in the evenings he's just delivering food for dinner for people to homes. So there are also this category of people. So they are kind of full-time gig economy workers, but just like the full-time consists of different platforms. So that is a great example. And also very interesting, actually, we are looking into elderly people. So it's now a big question how particular categories of older people, like I'm talking like the people who are out of the regular labor market already, but they have enough initiative and wants to be social, more social, not to stay at home, and we just want to do something. And we are not accustomed to the gig economy as a concept. It was not existent when we are like at their peak or in the labor market in general. But it's a great opportunity. And now we are looking into ways, what types of tasks are easy to do for them, how to like exchange the mobile application interface maybe to something what is more common for them, like maybe just an SMS for the task. That there is a task, please complete it, please do something like something. And it's really interesting because we see a like considerably big portion of people from, especially if they are from some organizations which kind of collects and tries to activate these elderly people into like additional activities during the day. They have a need to go and do some work, and we want to do it. And the monetary reward is not even the main motivator. It's a great add-on to all other social services they get, but I think it's really interesting because now it's very new for us actually. But we're looking into how the person who is mentioned basically is not familiar with the concept, how he reacts. But usually we have a great trade-off. The person usually is reliable, on time, is not in a hurry, and there are interesting considerations here.
And this is something that I think we get into. We talk a lot about sort of the new generation, often in with this sort of new forms of work. But you know, as people live longer, they're active longer, and as you say, they want to be part of society. They want to be useful. They want to have a role, and you know, offering opportunities to enter the marketplace and offer your time and your services seems like an absolutely fantastic thing as well, and something that's often missed by other sections of the economy.
Yeah, definitely, and it as the concept of short tasks for money or gig work grows in popularity. Maybe, I don't know, some young family members just introduce the older members to it, and why not?
Yeah.
And it's just a natural flow of information, and then for some people it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. It is.
So
It's getting out, Paul. It's meeting people, and it's contributing as well, and earning some extra money. I mean, it's a fantastic possibility for individuals to be able to contribute and be part of something as well. So I think it's this is a really an area which I think is untapped, and I think is just going to grow and grow as we go into the future.
And you can imagine, like, for example, now my parents, they are familiar with all the smartphones and stuff, and we still have regular jobs. But in 10 years, maybe they'll be out of the regular market, and they will be still familiar with the platforms, and they use all the popular taxi apps to just as a customers. And maybe in 10 years, they will be an active gig worker. So I really see it as a great opportunity with huge potential.
Absolutely. And where do you think things are heading? I mean, we're moving quite quickly at the moment in terms of the new products and services that are coming out, and also changing mindsets, particularly during the sort of the coronavirus pandemic. People have got different attitudes to work, but what do you see in terms of the next steps in the future of work? What are the trends or things that we should be looking out for as we move into the future?
Yeah, I think like the key word would be, like, from all the different industries and categories, not even like platform economies and gig work, is flexibility. Everyone is talking about flexible work hours, hybrid work from office and home, maybe fully remote work opportunities. And I think this flexibility is the new thing, which grew like exponentially during COVID times, and it will stay. And people try to be productive and flexible, and they try to mix and match basically different opportunities for work. Maybe they work somewhere part-time as a regular employee, even on a platform somewhere, and maybe on few platforms. Maybe they like to change even countries, like for 1 month in one country, another one in another country. And this like new economic environment and these apps, they provide an opportunity to know that if, for example, I work on some major gig work platform, I can find job in any country where the platform is existent and where it operates, and it is great. And especially for kind of immigrants into some countries, it's a great way to know that you'll get paid officially, you'll pay the taxes, and it's also a great opportunity. And one other example, like I like of these basically platforms, which I think creates enormous social good, is that for students, the freshmen who just move to the big cities from maybe countryside, from different country, it's an amazing opportunity. Like, it's an international brand, maybe. It provides a job locally for you in your neighborhood or in your part of the city, and you are sure 100% that you'll get paid. That's super important for the young student, maybe, who doesn't have much employment opportunities as just out of the high school. And I believe it's like flexibility in a broad sense. It works in many different ways, and it's a nice trend.
It is, and I think that sort of the services that you're offering is really just going to be the beginning of something sort of bigger and bigger on this. And I agree with those trends that you've highlighted. I think the ease of entry into the labor market, and particularly in Europe, a lot of markets are actually quite difficult and have been made quite difficult to enter. And from this, of course, no one benefits. But what you're setting up is actually the ability to do tasks and be able to earn money straight away in a very sort of easy and efficient manner. This should be the way of the future as we move forward as well, I'd say, Paul. So I think that you're definitely onto something, and this is just going to be the sky's going to be the limit in terms of the developments and the growth.
Yeah, I totally agree that the sky is the limit, and I still am positive in general about the developments, even in regulations. I think now we go through this kind of period where we try to understand like all these trends and put it on paper. Maybe the first drafts are not perfect. Yeah. Maybe they are good for someone, maybe not so good forever. Yeah. But in general, when we start to regulate, when we start to adhere to this kind of like very strong trend flows, and this new generation of people going into labor market where expectations are totally different, it will be a great to just adapt these first drafts to make version 2, version 3. Yeah. And in 5 maybe years, or maybe even 10, like we'll have a very flexible environment for work, and everyone will be happy. The taxes will be paid, people will work officially, and everyone is a winner. So I'm positive on that side. And I hope we'll play at least some part for our role into making that even more popular.
Definitely the case. Paul, thank you very much indeed for coming on today, explaining Traxlo and the services that you're offering, but also how this fits into the changing world of work. It's been very, very interesting indeed, and look forward to having you on again as we follow the journey.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Glenn. It was a pleasure, and yeah, let's hope to meet again here.
Absolutely. Thanks indeed.